We're online. So, hi. I'm really glad to invite you. Ahlam Oun, is it the correct spelling? Okay, Ahlam Oun. We're connected with Skype, but also with Twitter, and people are viewing us on our website. So they're viewing you, answering our questions, and people are invited to ask you questions. So could you present yourself shortly for people to know who you are? Please.
Basically, my name is Ahlam, as you know. I'm from Bahrain. I'm an activist. I'm a blogger. I write stories about Bahrain. I am very much involved in the movement which started since 14th of February in Bahrain. I'm a youth activist. I work with youth programs, youth activities, empowering youth, and fighting for the justice of the people.
And what exactly began in February 2011?
Basically, it started in Tunisia, and with the sense of it that people started the revolutions and the Arab Spring. Bahrainis, they wanted to join the movement, as so many countries did, and they marked their calendar to be the 14th of February. And so there were spontaneous mass protests all over Bahrain. Many people came in from so many different walks of life. You see the doctor, the engineer, the mother, the fathers, the childrens, the politicians, the non-politicians, the youth. So all together they have collided together and worked and started the 14th of February revolution.
And since then, there are protests almost every night. Is it true?
Almost, yes. Every night in different areas, you'll see people. Of course, many people may know.
We've lost you.
Right.
The image is frozen. I don't know if you hear me, but as for now, we've got an image frozen and we don't hear you anymore.
Elle a cuté. Elle a bien fait. On va... Elle rappelle?
Yeah. Ahlam, do you
Yeah.
hear me? Okay.
Good. It's going to happen a few times, I think.
Là, par contre, j'ai plus d'image.
Ça y est,
Okay.
it's okay.
Oh, cool. Okay. So you were saying to us that almost every night there are protests all over the country?
Yes, basically in 2011 when it was crushed by the GCC, they thought that it will stop, that because we have military troops coming in, because there are guns everywhere, military tanks everywhere, they thought that this will stop the movement, but actually it didn't. You have in every village there is a protest of people going on nightly basis, and of course the arrests are happening, the raiding of the houses are happening, the attacks which are happening from the security forces. So this became our daily life.
So, and I've been told that security forces use bird shots
Yes.
to fight protesters, but bird shots, it's used to kill animals.
Yes. This is what so many people are very much angry about, not because it's a deadly weapon only, it's because this weapon is used to catch animals or to catch birds, and they use it extensively, and so many people have lost their eyes, so many people, and they deliberately throw it at places where they know they will make the maximum harm. So you see people in their faces. Recently, there was a person called Aqil who was a bird shot in his face. His entire face, entire jaw just was ruined because of the bird shot. This is the guy who was the reason behind Zainab al-Khawaja was arrested, because once he was shot, he went to the hospital and they didn't allow his family to see him. So Zainab al-Khawaja, she went inside and just protested till his family see him. There were people who were killed because of that. And so many people who were killed, you see bird shots on their back. which tells the story that he was not facing the police officers. He was running away from them, and they just hit him in their back, where many people their lungs collapse. So it's a major problem in Bahrain.
Zainab, it's Hungry Arabia, this girl who is fighting in the street, who tried to defend, who is the girl of one of the leader of human rights in Bahrain. Can you tell us a little about this family?
Well, Al Khawaja family were known before even the 14th of February,
Non, il faut la
but
refaire.
Oh,
majorly they came to be known to the people because they're so courageous. They're so courageous in terms of defending human rights, educating people in human rights. Al Khawaja, you'll see him in every time he speaks with people. When he tries to protest, he teaches them while he is talking to them. Like, this is your right, this is your declaration. So I cannot imagine why wouldn't his daughters be the same, Maryam and Zainab. And Zainab she has 13 cases, trumped up cases and charges against her. She's going in and out of jail, but this did not stop her from doing anything. And there are so many cases when she does this, she knows she will be arrested. She knows that she will be sent to jail, but she picks her causes very, very carefully and very courageously.
she was judged yesterday. I've been heard.
Yes.
But
Yes.
is it true that the judgment has been postponed?
Yes, it got postponed till I think it was on 9th of February.
I've read that the police forces, there's more than 12 things that she will be judged for.
Yes. So what do they want to make sure that they stop there? Okay, so how can we make sure that, so they use the judiciary system to back the crackdown. So this is the system that they use to help their crackdown with it. So they have Zainab al-Khawaja. How to stop her? They use the judiciary system to do that.
And her father is actually in jail, and he has been condemned to life sentence prison.
Yes.
Can you tell us why he's in jail now?
Khawaja is in jail because basically he is a human rights defender, and he's a leader of the human rights, in not only in Bahrain but in the region itself. He is the teacher of the human rights. So for him, for the regime, this is a very dangerous person, because he will be the person who's telling you. He will not only teach you the text of human rights, but he will teach you how to not only preach it, but to work on it. So for them, he became a very dangerous person because he's very influential. And so they tried to pack him with so many rules and charges, and just to make sure that he is in life imprisonment.
And to be clear for the people who will hear us, it's not only has he been put in jail and condemned to life sentence prison, but a lot of people who are sent in jail are also tortured.
Yes, he was physically tortured. He was sexually assaulted. He was psychologically even tortured. So especially when the martial law started, which was in March, there were no rules. You can do whatever you want to do, and you will be. I'm talking from the regime side, so they can do whatever they want to do. For them, they have violated them, and the Bahrain, what they call independent report, they documented the violations and the torture. His jaw was broken. They were trying to sexually assault him, and they did. Yet no one has investigated those allegations, and no one from the judiciary system acted on it. So you have him being tortured and so many others, but no one is being, from the police forces, sentenced in jail or anything for the allegation.
So right now you are in Bahrain.
Yes, I am in Bahrain.
Is there a risk for you just to talk with us?
Definitely, risk is everywhere. there is a risk from so many things. There are examples of people being, women even, being raided in their houses at midnight. They would come masked, men will be coming in. I could be. There are so many cases that they can throw at me, but the issue is the the fear barrier has been broken. What else can they do? If I didn't fight for my right, my generation's right, my future generation right, who will? Who will we depend on? We are abandoned by the West. We are abandoned by our own regional countries. Not only abandoned, but we were attacked. So if I don't carry this right, who will? So this, I see so many people, they will risk it and go ahead.
How do you use the internet in your fight? How?
See, because we don't have the power in Bahrain, we don't have the money, we don't have the positions, we don't have the parliament that can say, okay, so you can use the parliament as your tool. We have nothing. So the only thing that we have is our, or not only, one of the main things we have is the own activism. And this is something that the regime was not able to crack down yet. They thought, because just to give you an idea, in Bahrain, there were every 10 years there's an uprising in Bahrain, uprising in the 90s. The problem with the regime is this: they use the tactics and tools they used in the 90s exactly the same, with almost the same people and the same heads, to use it now in 2011 or 2012 and 13. So they think it is similar. So, but don't remember, know that we have our phones that can document. We can use the internet, we can share. It's not like before that everything is hidden, no one knows about it. Families used to receive bodies they were not able to bury or take photos of. They will just bury them, and there is no question of the reason why they died. But now we are so much ahead of the regime.
But how can you explain that we don't talk a lot about Bahrain in the other countries?
See, but the issue is who controls the media. This is one major important factor. Who controls the media? When you have Barack Obama, in so many of his speeches, he says Bahrain is one of our big allies. They sell arms too. There are so many countries who export arms to Bahrain. So, in all of that, it comes that, okay, so we either redirect our media to speak about Bahrain and we will lose our money, or no. So there are so many countries, and CNN, which is one of the major networks, Amber Leon, I don't know if you know about her or not, she was exposing how the GCC regimes are using those networks to speak in favor of the countries, of the regimes, the oppressive regimes. So money, power plays a huge deal when it comes to speaking in the media or not speaking in it.
And do you think that the US Navy has a huge base in Bahrain? Is one of the explanation of the fact that the United States doesn't help you? And could you speak a little about this US Navy base, the Fifth Fleet?
Yeah, the Fifth Fleet we have in Bahrain, does it add too much to us or doesn't it add too much? Of course it does, because basically it just strengthens the relationship between the two countries, which is the US and Bahrain. And so having it here, it just makes them that, okay, so we will give you this facility, we will give you this domination of power somehow with the Fifth Fleet, but don't speak against us and the regime. So of course there is something that they use. It is something against us, not with us.
And what do you think of the fact that François Hollande, the French president, received secretly the King of Bahrain last summer?
Well, received him secretly. I'm not sure about much about this, but what concerned me was when it comes to the big for France, when wife of the king, Sabika, she was honored with an award when it comes to religious tolerance. Visitation, it doesn't matter me as much. The king came and he was visited by the president, it's something. But to be awarded for tolerance of religion, where every day I pass my car in front of demolished mosques, which was demolished by the regime in 2011, and still, not, till today, it has not been rebuilt. So for me, is not the visitation as much as it is granting awards and recognition where it should not be given to.
Last year, the French government authorized the sale of for almost more than 400,000 euros of tear gas to Bahrain. Can you explain us how the police use tear gas in Bahrain?
The use of tear gas is very, very extensive when they use it as they weaponize the tear gas. So how do they kill people and how they make sure that the maximum damage happened is by throwing tear gas, extensive tear gas inside crowded villages. You have very crowded villages and they throw as much tear gas as they can inside. This will cause so many suffocations inside. Second, there are so many videos of people, of police officers throwing tear gas inside the window of a house. They're climbing up the wall, going inside, and inside it, they throw a tear gas. Not only that, they use the tear gas canisters and they throw it onto people, onto protesters, to kill them. There were so many. There was Ali Sheikh, who's a 16-year-old boy, who was killed because a tear gas canister was thrown in his neck, and he died instantly. There are so many people. I met a family where their father was killed because inhaling extensive tear gas, because they throw so many tear gas, and they say no, no, nothing happened. It's very simple tear gas. It is a normal procedure. No, and someone was from the government was saying, "Oh, it's tear gas is used because we are humanizing our oppression." It's not. I can someone can kill you with water, and can they make you live, or they can kill you with gas, or can they make you live? So we have much problems when it comes to tear gas. Before, there used to be labels in the tear gas, so we would know from which countries, from Brazil or from the US. Now, the tear gas, which they have, it has no label, which is so much more dangerous because we don't know the content of it. Is it as per the international standards or not as per the international standards? There has been a study by some of the labs who were studying the tear gas which has been used.
We have a few questions on Twitter. Someone, Fluctuate, asked, what do you think about the Formula One Grand Prix, you know, that happens every year in Bahrain? He says that it brings journalists there, so it's, you know, what do you think about that? Is it good or not?
It is a good and a bad thing. It is a good thing for us because, as you said, it brings so many journalists. But don't forget, last year there were a group of journalists who were kicked out of the country because they were covering a protest happening at the same time the Formula One was happening. So the journalists who would come when the regime says we have brought in 500 journalists, but they do not give him access to go around the country. They are very strict that they don't want them. Only those who can come and escape from whatever procedure they have, they find someone to help them just to take them to villages and conducted interviews with the people, so they will be able to know the real story. The first time it was cancelled, for us, it was such a huge win. It was, I would say, a big slap on the regime because it showed them that it cannot go your way. The second year, I think it was good in the terms of bringing more exposure and more put us more into the map of the world.
We have another question from Flying Asparagus, who says that the networks and the mobile network could be shut off, could be closed by the government. Aren't you scared about that? Because if they do that, you're like almost dead. Like, you can't do anything else.
See, but they might do it. I'm not saying they will not. But at the end of the day, although the online activism is used to organize protests and to document the violations, I'm not saying it's not. But at the same time, our revolution is not a virtual one. There are people protesting on ground. There are people organizing protests. They don't need the internet to go. It will us, but it will not necessarily will stop us.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to go in the street. I mean,
exactly.
And what do you expect? Something like happen in Libya or in Tunisia? Or you want your leaders to be in jail or to be killed? What are you expecting?
See, between Bahrain and Libya, in Bahrain we're not violent. We don't have arms. We don't have guns. We have nothing. All what we have is our words and our marches on the streets and the words we say online, our media. So it will will not be like Libya. What my dream is that the people will be choosing at the end of the day what type of regime they want to have. How is it they want? Let the people decide. I cannot decide for my own self, but for me, whatever the people want to, let's vote for it. So I would go with voting, and I hope the regime eventually, when they have to learn the lessons from so many countries.
What is the responsibility of Saudi Arabia? Asks l'autre on Twitter.
Of course, Bahrain is like the underwing of Saudi Arabia. The Bahraini regime is very close with Saudi Arabia, and so you see the arms are given to millions of dollars are given to Bahraini regime. They need it. We have the GCC troops are still in Bahrain. The Pearl roundabout, which has been demolished in 2011, they still have army all over the place, which is very crazy thing because nothing there. What are you trying to protect?
It's a foreign army in your country to prevent you from protests.
Yes. It's GCC. They come from Saudi Arabia. They come from the UAE. So we have foreign army, and not only the army, even the police forces. They are mercenaries. There are people who are brought from many different countries, given a job, given houses, free medical insurance, they have free education, and all what they have to do is have a gun and oppress people of Bahrain. So we are being attacked from so many places, from so many different nationalities.
There is another question, very simple one from Nicolas Gouezet, who says, how can we help us on the internet? I mean, maybe.
What we're trying to do is we want to bring more awareness about Bahrain. We need people to organize protests. We need people from our side to work with us in terms of just like how you're doing, conducting an interview. We need people to write about it because the only thing we have in our hands now, we need media. We need people to write. We need protests everywhere because just like how, and I'm very fascinated about South Africa. I'm reading about the struggle with Nelson. Was.
We lost you. We lost you. Can you just repeat the two last sentences, please? We lost you the 2 last minutes.
Okay. 2 last minutes. So I'll start from answering the question.
From, well, you were saying you need more media, like
Yes.
in Africa, and then it was cut.
So we need more exposure. We need more media. We need people to speak more about the ongoing violations in Bahrain. We need people to organize, just like how in South Africa, how many people around the world they have all worked together just to stop the apartheid and the violation that happening in South Africa. We need the same thing to be done in Bahrain. So we need the people and the civil society and the youth, especially, to stand up with us, because at the end of the day, we need to feel that sense that we are not alone, that we have people who are standing with us. So writing more about it, using more media is definitely something we look up to.
One thing that seems to be different in Bahrain that in other countries is the importance of women in these protests. Can you speak a little about the importance of women?
Yes, one of the things that I am extremely proud of is the presence of women in the protests, the presence of their activism, because we broke the stereotype. So many people imagine that the Gulf countries, the Gulf women, they do nothing. They have petrol, oil, they have the money and all of that, and it is absolutely not the case, especially in Bahrain. So the participants of, sometimes if you go to a protest, you see more women than men, and it is, I'm so proud of how women in Bahrain are capable of taking over their role and being much more active, sometimes more than men, in defending their right to freedom.
Including online. What is another thing that stuns me is that, contrary to other countries, a lot of people like you decided not to be anonymous anymore, but to give their names, to show their face, and to openly show to the world that you are defending your rights and arguing for democracy. It's really impressive to see the courage you've got now to make all those protests and to respond to us.
Because what else do we have? Because if I remain anonymous for a very long time, I will not be setting any kind of example that, okay, so we have to speak. And so many people, they always ask me that, so do you fear the arrest? Why they didn't arrest you yet? I tell them, how many women will they arrest? If so many women are participating and fighting. So although there are some very very horrific stories of bloggers like Al Ashiri, who was killed in custody while in prison. We have a citizen photojournalist who was killed, also Ahmed Ismail, who was killed with live ammunition when he was videotaping a protest. We have another person, photographer Ahmed Hamidan, who is now in jail and psychologically tortured because of his documentation. So the proudness of the people doesn't come without pain. So for me to see those examples, I feel ashamed that if I don't do anything for them, they have led the way for us.
And what is this making noise thing?
Yeah, basically, Malcolm X is one of my. It's an inspirational and very interesting character, and I love his quotation. If you want something, I learned from a young age. If you want something, you have better make noise. So the idea of making this blog was making noise is to try to make some noise about what's happening in Bahrain, because I want to meet people. There are so many interesting stories in Bahrain. There are so many little things that people they don't necessarily document, but for me it touches me deeply, so I need to write about it. So for me the blog was a ticket to go into houses, to meet people, to sit with them, because if I go just like this, like talk to me about your story, it will not be very appropriate. So having a blog can express many things I have within me, and
We've lost the sound.
More than the sound, we lost almost everything.
And the image is frozen.
Yeah, well, we can say we lost her. You can call back, por favor?
Oh, I hear you
no,
back.
She's back.
Okay, you're back. It seems you're back.
yeah, I can, okay. So, which part did you lose me?
Just no, almost nothing. Can ask your next question, Jean-Marc?
Can you tell us a little about the spyware? And do you know the spyware affair of Vinvinteur last year? And do you know if it's still in use?
The spyware, because as I mentioned, we are in Bahrain, we are very, very, very active online. And so they cannot throw tear gas while I'm working on the keyboard. So what can they do? So they use a spyware. And then I read the reports of the spywares, and it's very interesting how they use it. And they try to find. And it became a very lively trade, especially for the spy companies where they sell those softwares. And one of them is one of my best friends who discovered one of the spywares which they conducted the test with. And they're using it. They need to catch people, especially for those who have Twitter accounts with so many followers, because those Twitter accounts with many followers, they are able to reach out to so many people and to speak to so many people. So this is what I try to spy on what they do, to access their email or even hack their Twitter accounts and emails. So it's one of the repressions they're trying to use.
There is a question from Nicholas who asks if there is a risk of civil war in Bahrain if things go on like that.
When there's a civil war, you need people who have guns and arms and they know how to use. In Bahrain, we don't have this case. We don't use people having guns. It's entirely different world. You compare Yemen, Libya, and Bahrain. Bahrain has no arms at all. At all. We are not even in our culture. In Yemen, for example, it is very normal that someone has a gun with them, and they carry them for a cultural reason. So in Bahrain, it's not in our culture at all, and no one even uses it. So civil war, I would definitely take it out of the hat, because I think it will ever happen. Because if it would happen, it's when the depression was at its peak, which was in March this year, and it did happen.
Do you feel as a citizen of the world doing this conversation with us as exactly we are feeling now today in this room where we are 10 persons, a bit like, it's quite moving, no, Jean-Marc? No? No, he's so fool.
Yeah.
He's a journalist, he's used to that. He's a rock. He's a man, huh? He's a spy. How do you feel tonight?
Well, I'm very thankful. Any place where our voice can reach is very, very interesting, and it is sometimes very funny when you speak to people, especially when there's a conference Skype. You have someone from the US, someone from the UK, someone from somewhere in the world you don't know. So it is very interesting, and I feel so glad that we are so much smarter than the regime in figuring out that the world is so small, smaller than they think.
It's okay for me, you know, Jean-Marc, you can conclude.
Well, Ahlam, thank you very much. It was really a pleasure for us to be able to speak with you. And
to spoke.
And we keep in touch. Okay, you've got my mail.
Take care.
Just take care of you. And I will send you links. You will send me links and tweet pics and films and we
Instagram.
will continue to talk about what's going on in Bahrain. Hope to see you.
Thanks. And as we say, shukran lakum. Like, thank you very much.
Shukran.
Shukran.
C'est bien ça.
C'est bien ça, shukran.
Thank you, madame.
Bye. See you. Take care.